think I'm going to call this one Plots Revealed. Whoa. Insight and understanding is just coming through concerning things, so that we know the depth, the forethought, the long-term plan. I've said it before. We live day to day. People live paycheck to paycheck. The people planning things, they're in for the long game. And I was watching one of Nathan Reynolds' videos, and I'll put the link down below. And he's talking about the colonizers and how they'll use drugs to destroy the fabric of a society so that they can then go in and strong arm them. Basically, armed robbery. Make them susceptible to it. And it popped into my head, remembering how at one time caffeine was illegal in England and Europe because the people had been reliant on beer and wine, because that's how they would disinfect and make their water drinkable, is they would ferment it. And it was watered down. People weren't like getting drunk off of it all day, though some were. And mead was a big thing. So the people were more passive. And then coffee was introduced, and all of a sudden people are perked up, woken up, and revolutions are happening everywhere. They outlawed coffee. No, man, you're waking our people up. This is not good. But we know that you can form an addiction with caffeine. And I'm looking at the United States right now, and how there's this movement. So the government has been involved in poisoning us, putting addictive substance in our foods. Caffeine, Starbucks. When, that thing that we're not supposed to talk about that was kind of like a panda bear on a large scale. Everybody had to stay home for a very long time. People flipping out because they were missing their Starbucks and all of that. So the people were going through withdrawal, isolated. Domestic violence was breaking out like crazy in a lot of households, and the way they would deal with it is, that's it. Both people would get restraining orders. Didn't matter who was guilty, who was innocent. They tore those families apart. I know in my case, the answer when, I was going to move into a houseboat, but that very day, driving up to check out the houseboat, sign the rental agreement and all of that, I get the phone call while I'm waiting there. This COVID thing, it's huge. We don't want to, we're not meeting you. We're shutting everything down. So here I am, homeless with 2 children in a state where I don't know anything. And it turns out I won't even get into how bad it was. But we had camped out on a beach. It was legal. So we went back to the beach, and I just got myself a bottle of wine. I'm like, the beach is quiet. Nobody's coming out. We're just going to chill out, and then we'll start calling around for places to stay and help the next day. Well, unbeknownst to me, the beaches had been closed. Cops rolled up to take the kids, and okay, so now my kids are in state custody. I need to make appointments with counselors. I got to meet all their qualifications. I got to get into housing. And every phone call I made, it was like, oh, we don't know what we're allowed to do with the COVID. We don't know what we're allowed to do. I can't do anything to get my kids back. So families are torn apart and all that. So I'm looking at, now we have a society totally addicted to a whole bunch of stuff, living in food deserts in the cities because they're confined to cities, and there might be a convenience store on the block, or it might be all fast food restaurants, and the people can't afford to eat there, and to go far away to a grocery store, they don't have a vehicle. They have to buy bus tickets. Some places it's free, but they got to take time off to work to get to those places, and people have 2-3 jobs just to make ends meet. So they're basically in a food desert, surrounded by food. Now we have a president whose representatives, the different parts of the government, are cracking down on food, making it healthier for everybody. And you think, okay, so you can't buy junk food and highly processed food on food stamps anymore. That would have helped in the beginning. That would have helped in the beginning. But no, people, their families are just so whatever comes along, like they're not doing us a favor. It's supposed to be a favor. It would be good for us if everything else was in alignment with it, if they weren't buying up all the farmland, if they were educating people on victory gardens. That was a big thing during one of the world wars, was everybody had a victory garden. Everybody had to pitch in and, be self-sustaining and be able to provide food, healthy food for their neighbors. And you can't do that anymore because you have genetically modified seeds that, you can't pass seeds on to your neighbors so that they can grow their food because your fruit and vegetables aren't producing fertile seeds. And you're eating infertile food, you're becoming infertile. So, there only so many people can have children, and they created the addiction, and now they're taking away the means to fulfill that addiction so that they can destroy us from within. And how many times are you seeing videos, people talking like the darn conspiracy nuts were right again? We are not in a fight with one another. The war is with the spirits of the air. They just happen to have a hold of the people, their brains, their hearts, their bodies, and therefore their souls. And Nathan there was talking about when what happened when the floods came there to the Carolinas, and within 12 hours, 24 hours, the dopamine from the phones, from loss of internet access, was gone, and people started robbing each other. I had gone through the whole survivalists, when you get into growing your own food, herbal treatments, food is medicine, you end up in the homesteading movement, and the homesteading movement takes you into the survivalist movement. It's how it goes. And we're led to believe we're going to have at least, a few days, maybe a week, a month before people start coming for, your storehouses. It'll take them time to, clean out the cities of all the canned food and whatnot. No. I didn't even think and consider, because I'll go off grid, and I won't even have a phone. I won't have any technology for 6 months, couple years. I mean, I went for a 10-year stretch with just the minimum. Like, every once in a while I would have a free phone, and there's nobody to call. I just used it to contact government agencies, and I was never within reception area, so it's not like I spent time watching videos, watching movies too. I mean, that was like a special tree out in the woods. We had reception. We'd put the phone up in the little hanging net of the tent, and we'd sit there, we'd watch a movie on this little itty bitty free phone. That was the extent of it. But these people, we have a whole generation that didn't know there was a time that cell phones did not exist. And they crack when they lose access to it within 24 hours. That was a whole new perspective on things. So, yes, there we go. Oh. It's funny, we become so conditioned to the way things are. This is so much our normal that we can't even comprehend how evil our times are. Like, people are looking, where's the tribulation? When's the tribulation going to start? When's it going to get truly bad? If you took somebody from even 100 years ago and put them in our modern society, they'd be like, it's Armageddon! I mean, this guy's like, we are watching things fall from the sky, signs in the heavens, and people are like, what is that? They have no clue. These are actual, literal angels coming down from heaven. This is actually, the government may have technology. There may be aliens sent, alien technology. We know they've been hiding in the earth all along. They're not really, but they're alien to the earth because they don't belong on the earth, because they're angels who left their places in their heavenly abodes. But some of it is God's judgment. It says right there in Revelation, telling the angels, set the trees on fire, kill this much of the fish in the ocean. And, we don't even, when we read the Bible, we don't even realize, like, the kingdom of the ocean, that there are spirits in there. Like, people are noticing it's illegal to commune and spend time with dolphins. And why? Because they communicate. There are spirits in them. They don't want you making pacts with the alien spirits that they're working with, or they don't want, like, good angelic entities, spirits in the animals to be, teaching people how to liberate themselves from the evils of this world. Like, yes, Yes, it is that crazy. They used to infill, like England did it to Asia with opium. They did it to America with chemicals in our food and caffeine, sugar. And then they take it away so that we collapse and we get infiltrated. And here we think that, oh, Trump is, restoring our country, bringing it back to God. You seen the stuff that goes on in churches lately? And I've picked up on, so there are a lot of people getting saved out of human trafficking and stuff like that. And that's great. That's a great movement. But then I see, oh, the devil ain't staying out of that one. There was a guy, and he's telling the story about how, he was saved from witchcraft, and, he was just this powerful guy, and I'm watching it, and he starts praying, and I, click off the video, click off, stop, God, ooh, shield, like, they're implanted, they're telling you the secrets of witchcraft, and wizardry, and ritual, because people aren't afraid of it, because they're going to the local bookstore and they're trying to figure out how to whip up spells and channel entities and tarot reading, psychics. It's a big thing. So they're not scared when these people talk about and expose the secrets of witchcraft, because your rapt attention lets the spirits in. And these people who are, trying to help. And I noticed there was one YouTube channel I was watching to help get myself out of it. And the woman doing the interviews, she didn't come from it. But all of a sudden she's so helpful to this movement. And it felt sincere, and she was really good and really respectful, and she always opened up with prayer. And then she brought in this guy, this psychologist, who's in detail explaining how they do it, how everything works, the different types of sexual predators and their techniques, into the finest detail. And the messages are coming in the comment section to this woman. This guy, he is, have you looked at anybody who's worked with him? His own daughter is like, he is one of them. He is a sexual predator. He is involved with satanic ritual abuse. Stop associating with this guy. She doesn't listen. She's been ensnared, enchanted, fascinated by it. I admired the strength and courage you people have. Ta-da! Doorway! We are screwed. There is only one way out of this, and that is our Creator. I can't even plan my own days. I was praying this morning, and I'm like, these people from this program are going to call, and then I don't want to be in the middle of prayer and the phone rings, so I want to do my worship, plan, go for a walk my dog, but I gotta have my phone at this certain time. Well, between these hours, they don't give you time between these hours. And then I'm looking at the calendar like, oh, and then I got this appointment again with another agency, and then I got another appointment, and I got uh, they schedule my days. And so I just prayed, Father, please, can you plan my days for me? Just even our daily schedule, they govern it. They mess up our sleep at nights, so we can't sleep at night. We can't get our rest. And so our days, we need to find times of rest during our day, but they make sure that we don't have that either. You know what lack of sleep does? I've seen the studies. Nightmares come out of lack of sleep. Nightmares, like horrific stuff. Oh, especially the stuff they were doing over there in Russia. And those people who studied all these techniques in Russia, our government took them in. The Nazis, our government took pages out of their playbook. They've all infiltrated our government. And we think that our government is suddenly doing a turnaround, outlawing the spraying of the chemicals in the sky, outlawing the fluoride in the water now. Oh. Alright, so that's it. There's the plot. Now you know. Now you have been told.